When you're putting together your online profile, you could almost look at it like a resume in work. It's kind of, you want to put your best foot forward because this is what's really going to get you those emails and hopefully those first dates. First and foremost, I do not suggest that you're deceptive in any way. A lot of women and men alike will say, you know, hopefully in a couple months I'm going to lose a few pounds, so I'm going to describe myself as athletic and fit even though I'm kind of heavy right now. You know, at the end of the day, if you do get the date and they do end up meeting you, they're going to see for themselves immediately, and it's like false advertising. People don't like that. So try to be as honest as you can, because you also want someone at the end of the day that's going to like you for you, so you should be honest. If you're, you know, a few extra pounds, don't put down that you're curvy. You know, if you're thin, then don't put down you're athletic, you know, so just keep it real. Another thing with online profiles is you want to be memorable, because if you look at how the sites are structured, I mean, you're like this little thumbnail profile with a username and a headline and a photo. So you want to stand out from the crowd. I suggest this in, you know, having a good photo. You want to make sure that it is a clear photo, that it represents you accurately. You know, don't put up your glamour shot where you had the beautician and the great lighting that made you look amazing. Just make it a real photo, look approachable, smiling is always good. And then as far as your headline goes, I mean, that can be very key in catching someone's attention. You know, there's good headlines and there are bad headlines. You know, some headlines that I'm really unimpressed with and would probably, you know, skip over are the hi or hello. A lot of people use that as a profile headline. Maybe something like, does this online dating thing work? Or, you know, Romeo seeks Juliet. Like, those are just really kind of boring, and you see those all the time. So I think you want to seem a little more inventive and creative to catch someone's eye. You know, some good ideas for profile headlines and examples would be, you know, for myself, tall Texas blonde seeks guy with boyfriend potential. Not only does that kind of describe me, you know, I stand out from where I'm from, Austin, Texas. I'm tall, I'm blonde. It also shows that I'm looking for something serious. I'm looking for a guy with boyfriend potential. So that's, you know, a really catchy headline. It stands out from the rest. You know, you could be cute. Like, if you don't like my ways, send me back in 30 days. You know, that's something kind of cute. It's memorable. It's something that someone would probably stop and read. You know, sometimes movie quotes are a good way to go, you know, as long as it's not too obscure where they're going to have no idea what you're talking about. Like, you know, I saw a guy once use the headline, "Nobody puts baby in a corner. All women love Dirty Dancing," and that's a great line, so that's totally going to get someone's attention. So a headline is definitely key. You want to be memorable. Keep your headline short and catchy, because a lot of times people will think of these really great headlines, but it'll be too long and it'll get cut off, so the whole point is not coming across. Another key is when selecting a username, you want your username to also be memorable, easy to remember, and to stick out and also kind of tell you a little bit about yourself. A bad example of a username would be something that's like not even pronounceable, something like XYZ157. That's definitely not an ideal username. No one's going to remember that. Like, you know, if they skipped over your profile and then were trying to think of who you were, they're probably not going to remember. A good idea of a username is something like, you know, Single City Girl or something catchy. You could have one that's tall, dark, and handsome, or, you know, just something that's going to be memorable that they can pronounce that will, you know, help you stand out from the crowd. And finally, I always suggest at the end of the day, after you've put your profile together, you think you caught everything, have someone else look at it, and especially someone of the opposite sex. They can give you really good insight into how you're coming across, how you'll come across to men or women, and also have them check for typos, because that's really a turnoff on an online profile. If there's a lot of typos, spelling errors, you know, shorthand, it's not cool. Like, you should just spend the time to do it right. Like I said, it's somewhat like a resume. You want to put your best foot forward. So get a friend of the opposite sex to kind of give you an opinion as to how you're coming across.